Blessed love, Honourable Priest Isaac, it's Sister Beulah here. Just come to share a few words regarding my natal chart, which was recently done. Thank you. But firstly, I have to make mention of the rudiments of ancient astronomy course that I completed, which ultimately woke my heavens to astronomy as a subject as a whole, and the ancient fundamentals of the universe, planets, stars, and all the other beautiful things I'm learning about. Yeah, the spring equinox, really like that. And just the effect that they have on us daily. Why I think it's really important you have some basic knowledge of astronomy before you get your natal chart reading done is so you will understand the straightforward mathematics that goes into the reading that Priest Isaac does for you. The natal chart reading is nothing to be viewed with any taboo or spookism. It just offers an in-depth astrological reading of the heavens at your time of birth, and the way the Honourable Priest Isaac is able to break down the planetary alignments and interpret how they should be showing up through you as an individual is just mind-blowing and accurate to your character. Trust me, it just adds deeper meaning to self. For me personally, getting my natal chart reading done and embarking on the principles of ancient astronomy as an ongoing study daily has been the best thing I could have ever done for me and my children. Rastafari. For these few words, I'm very thankful, and for crossing paths with the Priest Isaac Institute, I will forever be grateful for. Rastafari, Empress Menensil, blessed love. Thank you.
So my thing really, family, and I will do a more lengthier program on this, but this is not the topic for tonight. But in summarizing all that I've been saying so far, my thing is that the trinity of prophet, priest, and king is a scientific entity amongst us. It's no religious and make believe. Israel always have a king, a priest, and a prophet. And this time, as I said, is a different time. God come as a king and he come as priest and prophet to fulfill such a cycle. So we ain't pulling Marcus Garvey out and try to pretend we fitting in Empress Menen into that trinity. And no, you're messing it up. Don't do that. We already have the thing set from foundation. Don't confuse yourself, Bobo Shanti. And not disrespecting no one, but leave that for others to do. Straight up. Leave that for those who do not grasp the concept that Melchizedek is with us in flesh. The Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. Remember, Bobo Shanti. We were of the first to hail Empress Menen. I hear ones telling me, remember it's Muta Baruka in 2003 in a conference in Jamaica that encouraged the Rassis to start to say, Hail Haile Selassie and Empress Menen. I remember those times. I remember when I came into Rastafari, nobody was hailing no Empress Menen. I'm telling you. Maybe a brother or a sister here and there, but it wasn't no big thing. It wasn't no thing. Believe me, it is now. You hear it. And I'm happy for that. You don't understand what I'm saying? Bobo Shanti, when I came into this, our creed, when we go into Zion, the whole concept around that is King Alpha and Queen Omega, Father and Mother of creation. So we are not, we are not lacking or void in any way when it comes to understanding the divinity of the feminine. It's a part of our construct. I'm talking of Bobo Shanti, Prince Emmanuel order. So Baba Shanti don't get caught up with the rest, taking out Marcus Garvey of our trinity of prophet, priest, and king. I'm not arguing about no trinity with nobody. Remember, the heavens declare the glory. We are already in these programs. This is a scientific vibration, 180 degrees. From one side to the other side of the heavens, you have the trinity of the prophet, priest, and king, as Hercules and the serpent holder, Ophiuchus and Sagittarius. The trinity right there, 180 degree across. Midday and midnight, you have Orion, which is Sahu, and above him, Hu and Sa, the father and the mother, who brought him, the Orion Christ figure, into life. And that's the heavens. That's ancient astronomy, and we can bust that down, and we will do it again because we would have done that already. So again, we're looking forward to the Earth Strong of Marcus Messiah God. And I think that will be the message. Not try to take the prophet out the Trinity. I think that will be the message. So you look forward to that. But this evening here on the Tiger's Nest, what I really want to get into is the whole concept of the Christ figure. You know, he is the greatest storyteller. You know, Christ, the Jesus Christus, Yeshua, the Emmanuel of the Bible, what people call Jesus Christ. He is the number one storyteller in the world. Now, me saying that, many ones may take that as an insult. Like, what are you trying to say? No, man, Jesus is a good storyteller. Yeah, he can really tell you a story. You know, there's a difference between a story and history. That's why we would say, oh, that's his story. When someone says it's a story, it's as if it's not the truth. It's as if it's just like maybe some sort of example you're giving to me or whatever. It's not necessarily a lie, but it's a story. What are you saying? I'm saying this. Verse 33. Matthew chapter 13. You with me, family? And it says here, another parable spake he unto them. The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid the 3 measures of meal till the whole was leavened. All these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables. Let me repeat that. I want you to hear this. All these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables. Now hear this. Don't go to sleep, man. And without a parable spake he not unto them. That's a serious statement. And without a parable spake he not unto them. So you mean to tell me when you open the Bible and you see all these red R-E-D words which are attributed to the Iesus, the Christ figure, when he talking all of this stuff that he be talking, you mean to tell me nothing is literal, nothing is factual, all of the stories that he's giving us, nothing really happened? Now, this is very interesting. Now, I'm not saying he committed a crime. I'm just looking at this interestingly because we're dealing with the Son of God. We're dealing with God himself in flesh. Hold on, family. Listen to me good. The reason why I'm bringing this up, this is a school here. This is the university. We're not here to mock the ancient ones, the messiahs, prophets, and priests. Of course not. We're here to set the record straight so we can comprehend exactly what it is that we're dealing with. The Bible clearly says that the brother didn't speak unless he was speaking in parables. He's an interesting sort of person. So for him to have a conversation, because obviously he ain't having no slack conversation. When he speak, he has something important to say, to the point that he's gonna put it in a story form. What's a parable? What's a parable? A parable is like an esoteric expression. A parable is a story, but it will still boil down to being somewhat symbolic. A metaphor, figuratively expressed, meaning that it's not true. It's not literal. It didn't exactly happen. Don't give me no date and time and what year. Don't worry about that, because that's not the point. So the prodigal son, that's a parable. The man that sowed the seed, that's a parable. The man that went on a long journey, that's a parable. The Good Samaritan story, another parable. Everything that he spoke was a parable. So he was lying? Of course not. Hush your mouth. But that was his style of expression. Now you see, my point is this. If this is God in flesh, and he just speaks in parables alone, this is what the scripture said. He ain't saying nothing unless he giving you a story. The man is a master storyteller. So if this is God in a human form with legs, what about the God in the Old Testament and the God around him? Because, revelation, the revelation of Jesus Christ. That's what revelation is. The revelation of Jesus Christ. That's why some argue that it's not really the revelation of John the Divine. It's the revelation of Jesus Christ. It's Jesus Christ's book. Matthew 8, Jesus Christ's book, and Mark and Luke belongs to somebody else. But the revelation of Jesus Christ belongs to Jesus Christ. What a book of parables there. Oh, some super parables. Parables on steroids. But parables on the flip side. Not a story past, but things to come. Revelation I'm talking about. The dragon coming out of the sea, and the man standing in the sun, and a whole heap of things that may not be literal in the way that they have been expressed. But it's not a lie. So the parable Christ gave of this wicked man that owned the field, and servants came and worked for him, and he didn't pay them, and he beat them, and he do all sorts of things with them. And the master sent his son to this fella to collect, the royalties, and this fella dealt with the son terribly. And the father said, yeah, that's how you deal with my son. I myself will come and deal with you. I will destroy your kingdom. Even if you bring Mussolini, by the time I'm finished with him, your pope will be dead. Your so-called emperor will be gone. Your whole kingdom and your royal family will be defunct, and you will still be in the middle of World War II. Huh? Yeah. So the point is, although Jesus was giving you a parable, it was just in story form for the reality of what was to come and what came. But you see, what I really want to home in on It's not just the storytelling thing. Let me return to my point. This is God in flesh. So the God in the spirit realm as such, does he speak in parables too? Well, I caught him speaking in parables a couple times. Remember in Ezekiel or Isaiah, he said he has two wives. You remember that one? Aholia and Aholiaba. He has two wives. And these two wives are sisters, and they were his. And they went a whoring after other people, other men. They played a whore with him. This is what God is saying. And then he came and said, well, these two wives are really Jerusalem and Samaria. Two cities, eh? Two cities. Cities, eh? Cities are his wives. And then he went on to explain when they went to whoring is because they, followed other gods and other customs and changed the ways that he gave to them through the hands of Moses. So he was speaking in parables there. He speaks in parables too. So hold on. So this speaking in parables stuff that Christ does, because remember, he doesn't speak unless he's speaking in parables. What kind of thing is this? Is this some sort of art or, like if you are a writer, if you are a poet, even if you're a singer, some sort of artist, whether it's paint or drawing or singer, within your craft, there's certain techniques that certain ones, do. Oh, I know this technique here. This is the Van Gogh technique. Or this is the John Coltrane technique. Depending on what you're dealing with. Is this some level of technique that Christ was using that may have been used by other prophets? How many of the prophets spoke in parable? That's my point now. Because this prophet here, I'm talking of Jesus Christ, he doesn't speak unless he speaks in parable. Where did he get that style from? Who else in the Bible doesn't speak unless they speak in parable? How many of these biblical stories are parables and we kind of mix them up? When Jonah was giving his story, because it's the book of Jonah, he said he was swallowed by a fish. Was he speaking in parable? Or a parable or parables? I would believe so. Who wrote Genesis? Moses? When Moses said God took a rib out of Adam and made Eve, was he speaking in a parable? I would believe so. So this is what I'm saying. How many of these prophets and writers spoke in parables? And how many, if not all were 100% parable speakers, how much of their works were parable? Because you see, in Ephesians, Paul says, or is it Galatians? But Paul did say, as it relates to the story of Abraham and Sarah and Hagar, this is what Paul says. It is an allegory. Now, what kind of statement is that? St. Paul says that the story of Abraham and Sarah and Hagar is an allegory. Okay. Now, allegory doesn't mean it's not true, but allegory has some strong symbolic tones to it. In fact, an allegory is not just symbolic, and these are different terms. Symbolic and esoteric and allegory, they're not exactly the same thing. Symbolic can cover them in general, but esoteric is really symbolic science. In religion it's used, to me, loosely, esoteric and exoteric and all of that stuff. Just spiritual, yeah, but it's science, deep science. I know you heard the passion there. When you're dealing with esoteric, you're dealing with what you're dealing with. You're dealing with the Pyramid of Giza. You're dealing with the mask of Lord Takal and Tutankhamun. Then you're gone into esoteric. Trust me. And allegory is usually song and dance and poetry. So there's a difference. And according to St. Paul, that story is an allegory. So what else is an allegory? What else is symbolic? What else is a parable? Since we caught some parables being exchanged here, and we even found someone that he doesn't speak at all, unless he's speaking in parables. And you see, the main point here is, as I remind everyone to make sure that you register for the upcoming Triple Crown virtual tour to Addis Ababa, you must be saying, where did that come from? It didn't come from, it was there all the time. The virtual tour, the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th day of August. What you say, you registered already? You sure? Well, that's very good if you did. If you have not registered, remember you have the 7th of August. Lifeline. They call it deadline, but we're alive here. Lifeline, the 7th of August. When that comes to a seal, the 50% off comes to an end. And listen, man, to me, that's nothing to worry about because the original price is such a good price as it relates to the value of what you will be getting. What is he talking about? The virtual tour, you haven't heard? Man, I'm talking about once again the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th day of August, Unity Park. We're talking about the Science Museum, and we're also talking about the National Museum here in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Oh, the Freedom Tour, no, virtual tour. That means you do not have to leave your home. Yeah, you can stay right where you are. You can sit on your wonderful, comfortable couch, bed, in your car, wherever, and put on your TV, your laptop, or your tablet, and there we will be. You will get the link for sure, and you will be live and direct with us. If for one reason or the other you miss it, of course you will get the recording. Keep in mind, this will be professionally done. We sought out the best, if you want to use that term, in the industry to make sure you get quality for your finance. So I'm encouraging everyone, those of you who have not signed up as yet for the Triple Crown virtual tour, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Yeah, you do have time, but to get the 50% discount. And remember, you can pick any one of the tours that you choose if you decide not to come to all three for whatever reason. That is up to you, and the 50% still applies. So again, even if you just say, listen, man, the Science Museum is for me, that's $100. But if you apply, if you register before the 7th of August, you don't know you get that for 50. But I'm just encouraging everyone to take the full package. It's the Triple Crown, virtual tour. And it's a triple three, $100 for the full tour itself. But the 70% now, the 7th of August, 50% off brings that to 150. So you don't know what to do. Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. More information, the register, and definitely we're gonna have a blast. Looking forward to seeing you. And as I said, the main point here is that the Bible, the scripture itself as we know it, obviously is much more symbolic than we admit. Many of us, we're getting this knowledge, we're learning this truth, but we still don't want to admit it. For one reason or the other, we just want to, keep it the way that we always had it. Let's just be blind forever. Introducing Ethiopia's Freedom Tours. What is an Ethiopian Freedom Tour? We are giving you the opportunity to visit us in Ethiopia on your terms. You pick the date, summer, spring, October, or December. It's your choice. 3 days, 5 days, 7 or 9 days. It's your choice. Several options to choose from. Tour Addis Ababa. Tour Shashamane, Hawassa and Wando Genet, Lalibela and Aksum, or a combination of them all. It's all up to you. Need more information? Check our Freedom Tour booklet. Press the link in the description or email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Ethiopia Freedom Tours. When will you be coming?
Nearly half the population of Ethiopia now is under the age of 15, and for Haile Selassie their education has always been an obsession.
Salam Nacho to all Ethiopian lineage, children and parents. Introducing the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge Ethiopian History Essay Competition from the 5th of May to the 2nd of November 2026.
He's taken personal charge of the Ministry of Education, sought teachers and money for more schools from half the countries in the world, and turned one of his palaces into a university.
Children 7 to 17 will write an essay entitled "What Does Ethiopian History Mean to Me?" Prizes such as laptops and tablets to be won, trips to the Science Museum, Unity Park, and others for the full class of the winners. From Aksum to Lalibela, Menelik I and Menelik II, Ethiopia's history is amongst the richest in the world. For more information, join us on most social media platforms at Priest Isaac, or email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. The Ethiopian History Essay Competition. Know your heritage.
He's directly responsible for whatever schooling these youngsters get.
To everyone who has been asking, Priest Isaac, how can I make a contribution to the Institute? Press the link in the description and you'll get all the information that you need to do such. We truly appreciate your inquiry. For more information, email priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. To everyone who has been asking, Priest Isaac, how can I make a contribution to the Institute? Press the link in the description and you'll get all the information that you need to do such. We truly appreciate your inquiry. For more information, email priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com.